Hi Chanoch. This is the first 752 Mentalism Square, subtitled Where Do Our Guesses Come From? And it corresponds to, this is Thursday, December 26th of 2019. The Hebrew day was Yom Hamishi, 5th day of the week, the 28th day of Kislev, which was the 4th day of Hanukkah, in the year 5780. The Parsha of the week was Miketz, and the Daf Yomi was Nida 64. And it spanned through a 35-day period of time. And if you see a 5x5 grid, don't let that fool you. Indeed, those are 25 three-digit numbers, but it covers a 35-day period of time because of an invisible line between Friday and Monday. That would represent the 2 days of the weekend, Shabbat and Sunday, in which there are no numbers, but they do account for the time. So they're time with no numbers, you could say, and that would be, its parallel would be a person without a picture. If there were 7 people and five of them had pictures of them and 2 people didn't have pictures of them, you can see it that way. That's one example. And I'm drawing that from an actual example, but it goes 35 days and it ends off in E5. This is A1. Well, it counts like this from left to right, ending off in E5, which is 398, and this would be Wednesday. The blue column is Wednesday, yellow is Thursday. So it ends off at Wednesday, January 29th of 2020, which was the 3rd day of Shvat, 5780. The Parsha of the week was Bo, and the Daf Yomi was Brachot, Tractate Brachot 26. And this technology, this experiment, I should say, where do our guesses come from? I'm trying to. That's why I'd like to make it an open source and have as many people involved and as much input from the collective as possible. But where our guesses come from would be the same place that other parapsychological, or psychic, or telepathic phenomena come from. And this is geared towards, I'm seeing like a big picture of the cryptosphere and Web3 in general, and I want to give it a demonstration of how this information technology could conceivably, potentially, ostensibly, be geared towards navigating a multidimensional reality, a multidimensional information system where passwords and birth dates, they're all correlated, and they're all the same in terms of how you're navigating this world. And different people, names represent different concepts, and the interaction between concepts would be laid out in a readable way, readable format. So I'd like to give an example of that. With this square, it represents a period of time, a 35-day period of time, from the end of 2019 until the end of January 2020. But all of these numbers here, which I did not write myself, they were all guesses coming from someone else. They have numerical values that correspond to everything and anything under the sun, depending on what you need it for. So I'm going to give an example, a name, a fictitious name. Let's just say Dan Bauer. Okay, if your name is Dan Bauer, please don't take this personally. Maybe it's related to you. That would be the interesting part. If it is related to you, then fine. But I'm using Dan Bauer as a fictional name to represent someone else that I saw this morning at a particular time on the clock. Now, what this would be geared to do is that if I say Dan Bauer, I could have just as well said Dave Bailey. Or I just as could have well said David Bernstein. It doesn't matter because the D and the B are the ingredients. It's the light that takes you into that field. So, in truth, the person that I saw has a certain connection to those initials. And so I looked at the clock and I realized that it was 10:22. Now 10:22 is an actual coordinate in this box. You can see it. You can see it right here. Except the permutations are vital. That's why permutations means arrangement. Any arrangement of a 3-digit or a 4-digit or even 5-digit numbers. But mostly in these we're using 3 and 4-digit numbers. So for example, 1022 would be in DE4. The coordinates would be DE4. Why? Because in DE4 you have the digits 2102. Right? So rearranged, that would be 1022. So then now I'm seeing this Dan Bauer in question in the square. Okay, so why is that significant? Because another person by that same name was linked to another time on the clock. And it was not today. It was from a different time. It was from about a month ago. And the time associated with that, I used the name Dave Bailey. And it was indeed those initials as well. What the time was 11:42. Well, indeed, and in fact, you have 11:42 here as well. Where do you have it? The coordinates would be A, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you count A, 1, 2, 3, 4, you're going to see 11:44, right? 11:44. But wait a minute. Remember the rule? Permutations are fine. So 724 would in fact be 742. In that case, 724 is just as well as 742. And then you have 1142. How is it that I saw someone with those initials at this time and you just moved down here in this limited space? There's not a million numbers here. The odds aren't so amazing that you're saying I'm finding anything here. You couldn't just find anything here. Limited to those initials within specifically limited clock times, I'm finding those two initials at this time and at this time, and this was not limited to today. This was today, and this was July 20th, which was like over a month ago. But indeed, they had the same initials. So take that idea and expand it further. Take it to coins. What if coins had a price of this and had a price of this a few weeks ago, and the names of the people who traded it was over here, and it would all be in one square? You would get the feeling, you would get the data set of where these pieces fit into this multi-dimensional puzzle. It wouldn't be just names and people, it would be prices, times, and you would see, okay, once I've identified these ingredients, I know what kind of a cake it's going to be. If I just use an example, if I see chocolate in there, I see some whatever. I'm not a baker, but I'm just using some chocolate, some sugar, wheat. Then it probably would be a chocolate cake, wheat flour, that is. And so basically, this is what I'm trying to identify. Is these guesses, they came from a subconscious realm, but I'm seeing something that's very concrete and very not abstract. It's very concrete. This is a real person at a real time. These are real people with real names, real time experiences. They're not, but they came from the realm of guesses. So it's taking the abstract to concrete. And that's what is being developed here. And if you have any input on this, I would appreciate your feedback.